All right, guys. What is going on? What is Gucci Gang? Welcome to Market Maker Monday. First stream of December, right? Birthday month. Not to brag or anything. Jordan Morgan birthday month as well. So hopefully you guys are, or have rather, learned a lot this year. Right, December 1st, it's a good day to start reflecting on the year, how it went. You know what I mean? And if you're not already planning out goal setting and your steps, right, your plan to achieve those goals in 2026, if you have not started that already, you're wrong. You're entirely wrong. So what's good? Eric, Marshall, Pip Trades, Mason, Robin, Sean, Capitalist, Torty, and Jorks. All right, we got 11, 12. We got 12 people. Let's go. Let's go, chat. Okay. We'll start off with NQ since we are here. We'll go with that. Good job, Rob. Took a banger NQ trade today. Yeah, NQ is our strongest index. Not unusual. And that is especially seen on the smaller time frames. But before we go to the before we go to the lower time frames, we do need to go to the higher time frames. Right? So there's a few different things that are overlapping here. So 25,166 and a quarter up to 25,320.75. That is this gap from over here. Can everybody see that? Friday, November 7th, that candle's close. All right, now we got over 20. Let's go. Let's go. Friday's close, November 7th, up to the open of that Sunday / Monday the 10th. You guys with me so far? Drop some ones in the chat. You guys are with me so far. It's very easy. Friday's close, Sunday, Monday's open. And that was traded through on Thursday the 13th. And then on Friday the 14th, we see it sort of become an inversion. On Monday the 17th, it really, what's the word I'm looking for? Shows sensitivity there. Price does trade into that imbalance as well. So it overshoots the gap. That's fine. We do allow for that. And then we do trade lower. Cool. Thursday the 20th, we come back into that one more time for that Thursday sell-off that nobody saw coming except for me, I guess. I don't know. I mean, a lot of us saw that, right? Because remember, we had October FAFO Fridays low. Remember that? And that caught everybody off guard, except you, except me, right? So, in other words, the storyline here is that gap was not seen to support price. Okay, that's, we're talking about support and resistance, right? That did not, we did not see any responsiveness, okay, to longs in there, basically. Daily closure completely through that. So instead of being a support, right, instead of price being supported to go higher, it was utilized as an inversion to go lower, and then utilized one more time as an inversion to go lower, right? So what have I taught you about gaps? I think so too, Tio. Not just on the daily, but on like a 5-minute as well, if you take a look at it while I review some stuff. I remember that because I looked at it earlier. Even though I think Dow is always, you know, it's mostly dog shit. It's trash, but it's not untradeable. It's just not ideal for me personally. But what do you guys know about gaps? What can you tell me about gaps? The law of what? The law of the return. Like imbalances and gaps, right? Imbalances and gaps love the law of the return. Or we could even say, like, I don't know if we have like the law of inversion, but it's the law of return. What was once bearish becomes bullish. What was once bullish becomes bearish, right? We've been over this before. Hopefully by now, almost what, 10 months later, hopefully you've seen 48 laws of trading, right? So again, what's the storyline here? We had the gap higher, we go through it, so it's not bullish, it becomes bearish, and even like a third day, right, for that Thursday. So what took place last week on Wednesday, we trade back into it. Thank you, Robert. What you sow, you shall reap. Well, that's biblical, right? God will not be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. There's another part in there I forget, but that's close enough. Okay, you get the gist of it, right? Go read it yourself. Wednesday, we get an up close. We're still inside that gap, no problem, but we've already that's already been utilized to go lower. So is that going to be utilized like a third or a fourth time? Probably not. So we anticipate what? Higher pricing. Remember those highs we talked about? Right, we talked about that. To go higher. We were bullish all last week. We don't need to rehash that, but it was a good week, right? Especially for those long-term portfolios if you guys have them. Anyway, Friday of last week, the 28th. That's here. Damn, trading view in this plus button being right here. Friday's close, right? We get through that. So we're finally through that gap. And almost since the beginning of SMS, like 3 years ago, 2.5 going on 3 years by now. I lost track, honestly, of how long we've been doing this. But what have we always talked about, especially when it comes to indices? Once gaps are traded through, more than likely, they're going to become inversions. So what was once bearish is likely to become bullish, right? So look at that. Look at today's candle, dog. Here's some fucking hindsight for you, right? Utilizing the same rules that you've been taught. The same rules that you've been taught years ago. Still working. But they shut the markets off the other day. They're changing the algorithm, right? Same fucking rules, still working. Still working. You know what I mean? How can you not like this stuff, dude? You know what I mean? How can you not like this shit, chat? I don't know. But anyway. Look at this, okay? Look at this. Look what we happen to do today. I don't think we're done. I definitely think we're going for Friday's high, which should be fairly obvious by now. If we don't, I'll be wrong, but it's fine. If you remember from Friday, we talked about lows on ES, if you guys remember that. I would hope that you do. Remember the 68.25 level? We talked about that. And we ended up getting like a early close on that Friday, right? that was immediately obliterated, which is cool. But nonetheless, we have liquidity there that got taken, basically. NQ, same thing. Not equal lows, but still like Wednesday PM session lows, Wednesday lunch, or and we'll just chalk it up to PM session lows here. So notice what we're doing here. Do you guys remember that story I told you a long time ago? Let me back up. I posted on my Instagram story a couple days ago. I said, wow, it's really awkward to see Facebook memories, right, of students that from like 5 years ago, literally 5 years ago, who were making posts, you know, tagging me, Jordan, yeah, some other trade house folks, right? And then you like click on their profile and we're not even friends anymore, right? That's awkward, you know? It's weird. Anyway, it was that same on that post. I didn't like share it or anything, but that same person, okay, had a house event, like a home event here in Houston. Of course, they invited me. I went out, you know what I mean? And we were doing like lessons and stuff. I showed them George Angel's book, Not Winning in the Commodities Market. Maybe it was winning it. Anyway, I showed him a George Angel book. He was a floor trader for the S&P, wrote about trading, a bunch of stuff, and then there was a portion in that book on manipulation, right? So we went over that. I showed him that. And then they were asking me questions once like the lesson or whatever was over. And I remember getting a question from this specific person that we're not fucking friends anymore on Facebook, right? It was this individual, I think, that had asked me, hey, John, how do I know what concept to use? Do you guys remember the answer to that? I've given it to you before. What was my answer to that question 5 years ago? How do I know which concept to use? What did I tell them? What was my response to that? Because you're pretty much looking at it. Mason blocked. Big blocked. Right? There's 40 something, 40 of you on here. Who remembers? We've been over this like multiple times. It wasn't the divergence, Julius. You're looking at it. How do I know what concept to use? The answer that I gave them, I said, listen, SME, smart money efficiency, guys. Come on. SME, smart money efficiency. Okay? It is when price is taking out traders and doing some sort of rebalancing at the same time. It's like buying an imbalance below an old low or shorting an imbalance above an old high. It's that's why I called it smart money efficiency, because it's efficient. It's doing two things at once. You've heard the term before, right? Two birds, one stone. Price here, okay, is taking out traders who were otherwise long on Wednesday during the PM session or Friday that held over the weekend. Okay. So today, what do we get? Again, we get a run below some lows. We get a soup here actually too. And look what it's doing. It's randomly, right? Because it's all supply and demand at the end of the day. Right? That's what it is. It's all just random bullshit that's unpredictable. Imbalance, right? It's trading into a higher time frame imbalance. It's trading into a higher time frame gap that has become inverted. It's already shown you evidence of being bearish. We trade through it. It ain't fucking bearish anymore. Okay? So, law of the return, we should be bullish in here. Right? We should be bullish in here. We get some lows. Price takes that out. Small retracement back into the range and then makes a lower low right there. There's your soup. Okay, it is cold here in Houston. It's 45 degrees Fahrenheit. It's raining. It's disgusting, and soup is pretty good, right? Right here. Who needs Campbell's chicken noodle when you've got turtle? You know what I'm saying? Who needs it, dog? There it is. Okay, it's hard to put it all on one screen, but there it is, right? Lower low, below some lows, inside of a higher time frame gap that has become an inversion. You see that? That is smart money efficiency. It's taking out traders, and it's not gonna, or in this case, it's not trading all the way down like to the low end of it. Remember, when we're bullish, we want to see either the bottom half, at a minimum, the lowest quarter if we're bullish, or the highest quarter if we're bearish, right? But look at that. We leave a portion open. That's bullish, right? That's bullish. You want to learn some more supply and demand concepts? Look. Okay, I didn't make this shit up. I didn't print price today. Look at that. Where does our retracement go to? Where does our retracement go to? Stop and turn. Literally stop and turn on a dime. Right at the high end of that old gap. Weird. Fucking weird, isn't it? Strange, isn't it? Y'all watch Stranger Things? Dude, I watched, what is it, season 3 or season 4 or 5, whatever the new one is, and I got really bored. I was like, y'all waited 5 years to give out like 4 episodes. Like, this is bullshit. But whatever. Strange things happening here. Okay? It's all just, nobody can ever predict any of this stuff, right? Come on. Look at that. Soup. We trade higher. We get a retracement. Down candles here. We get our upper quadrant right there. Trade higher. We trade a little bit lower in a retracement into these down candles. Bullish markets. Price will respect down candles, right? So you have a series of 3 of them right there, which we trade into and then off of. You see how that works? Soup set the low. Manipulation always sets the low. It's never out of order. You're the one who's out of order. Order in the courtroom, right? Manipulation always sets the low. It will never not be that. Although this isn't really like a buy model in my opinion, but the delivery is like it. Manipulation, low risk buy, or maybe like the first leg here and then second leg. Wow. So difficult, right? That retracement here, okay? If we go to Dow, what did I tell you about Dow earlier? I said the low, I don't remember what I said. Something like the low looks like turtle soup. I said YM possible soup at the low, so it may want to catch up and go higher at 1046. So that's probably like right at this new high here. Oh, yeah, like right in here. Right? So at the same time, and this is why Dow, like, this is why Dow sucks, okay? Most of the time, Dow is trash. But look at that. We get that run right around 930, a little bit prior. That 930, 935, we take that low here, right? And I think that 930, 935 is right there. You see that? So soup set the low, and then here, when it's tagging the upper quadrant, again, random level, okay? Random fucking level. The price respects. Okay. All the buy volume came in, chat, at 25,282 and a quarter. That's where everybody put their buy order. Buy limits, right? The icebergs were here. Yeah. All the iceberg orders was here. So all the buyers came in. Okay. And then price rallied after that. So, but anyways, that's how you know we're under accumulation, right? That is how you know that Dow is under manipulation. Also, it's fucking garbage. Whatever. ES was a little bit more strange today. I didn't really like when we were in the middle here at like 10:15, and that was because we had the lows from like equities open, and then we also had some highs too. So I don't usually like when price is in between two levels like that. But the higher time frame picture for ES, especially NQ, points to higher pricing. So we do end up actually going higher, which is cool. And the trash people are right outside, so you may hear that in the background, but they're doing a good job. It's cold and rainy outside, and they're out there working, so they've got my respect. But anyway, thanks, Rob. Congrats, AJ, on the blue badge there. Very good. Very, very good. So anyway, that's the storyline for today. Soup at the low, inversion here. That first imbalance to me should have been the breakaway, and we almost closed that whole thing in, which I did not want to see that, but whatever. And we are getting out of it, but look how weak this is, right? Look how weak this is. It's been struggling to go higher. ES a little bit more of a stair step, and then NQ is like, nah, I'm bullish. So NQ, better index today for longs. And yeah, so that's been today so far. You guys have any questions up to this point? We have covered a lot of stuff. We usually don't talk about this a lot, but this was like the Thanksgiving consolidation too, which was wrecked in Asia and wrecked beyond those lows. Still left majority of that lower half open. Sorry, the lower half of like down here. It trades into that, but in regular, it maintains the 0.5 and maintains the lower quadrant open. So we talked about higher time frame. We talked about top-down analysis in a way. We started on the daily, then went down in time frame to understand when you align them. That's where you get really good trades. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, if there's no questions, we'll probably just shut it down, because I bought a lot more books. I really shouldn't do that, but I'm on like my third or fourth AI book at this point, and I got more coming in today that are not AI related, but I really want to get to these books. So I want to make sure you guys get your value, of course. It's a free live stream. I want to make sure you get your value. But if you don't have questions, that's going to be it today. My trading slows down in December. The streams won't slow down, but I don't see a point of going a whole hour if we do not have a reason to do so. What's your question, Robin? What AI books? So one of them is Artificial Intelligence by Melanie Mitchell. It's a little bit dry. Actually, all the AI books are a little dry. I'm gonna be honest with you. I read about a third of that one. Co-Intelligence by Ethan Malik. I read that one in 2 days. It was a pretty easy, it was an easy read. And then right now, I am reading a book called Super Agency. I put this towards the camera. Super Agency by Reid Hoffman and Greg Beto. I did not know this in advance of buying the book, but I think Reid Hoffman is the CEO or he's a co-founder of LinkedIn. And he's got like a podcast and all this stuff too. I didn't know that. It wouldn't have made a difference, but it's kind of cool. So, Oscar, I did trade today, and it was Dow, and it was not fun. So it was like a break even. I traded the wrong shit. I didn't want to trade ES because we were in the range, and by the time I was making any decisions, at least for NQ, I don't know, I felt it was a little bit too late. So forgoed that one. I don't understand the difference between a regular chart and a machine chart. What is that? Are you talking about regular trading hours and electronic trading hours? Is that what you're asking? Because I don't know what you're asking right now. Would you say it's not the best opportunity to trade in December? Every December that I can think of has been great for trading. Twitter says otherwise, but Twitter's usually fucking wrong. Twitter didn't know we'd be trading lower that Thursday. We did. You know what I mean? Twitter says, oh, don't trade this day, don't trade that day. And then they think when there's really clean price action, they think it sucks. Like, don't listen to Twitter. You don't have to listen to me, but just think independently. Think for yourself. I've been doing this a long time. And I used to, in the beginning, you know, when I heard, oh yeah, December sucks. And then I saw just the most beautiful. How can you not think that this is beautiful? You know what I mean? Like, look at this. How can you not tell me that that's a turtle soup right there, right? And it does sort of like shoot past this mitigation here, but there's imbalances in here too that it reaches for. You know what I mean? Like, how can you tell me, or right in here, okay? Here's something for your fucking notes. Watch this shit. When we got to the quadrant, right? And then we traded off of it. You remember I told you that concepts that overlap with quadrants are fucking awesome? Well, we really don't have a lot right here as far as like, you know, what it responded to. I mean, I guess that's an imbalance right here, but it does reach this lower one. But watch this shit. Look at this. Look at this. Price comes up, body stops right at the high end of that gap. Fucking random, right? Supply and demand there. Magically comes back down, right? Perfectly delivers into that inversion right there. Bang, right? Get back above the gap. Oh, look at that. Look what's going on right here. Look what's going on right fucking there. Right? I wouldn't really count this as like an inversion. It overshoots that here. But I guess if we said like reclaimed maybe. But yeah, look at that. Come on. How can you sit there? How can you look at this chart and think that it's all like indicator based? How? That's crazy. But yeah, inversion here. Somewhat of an inversion here, but I would more so point to the gap, right? That old gap right here. That once we got our soup, we got our accumulation, right? After that, because remember Dow was lower here, accumulation, right? And then all of a sudden, post accumulation, right? Post accumulation, that means after the divergence, right? That gap sends price higher, doesn't come back here, and we send. Come on. Right? Come on. Anyway, I forgot where we left off. What question was that? I don't even remember what I was going over. My teachings are top tier. Thank you, Oscar. Well, you know, as always, I did not invent this stuff or create this stuff. There's a few things that were self-discovery, okay? There was a few things that were definitely self-discovery, but there was a lot of pointing in this direction, and I followed them and then came to my own conclusions, like the mitigation model. Nobody ever told me, yeah, you take a mitigation, and then if you have an imbalance that overlaps, like that's it. Nobody taught me that. I came to that through my own discovery. I didn't create that, right? I found it just by being open for interpretation. It's been there. It's always been there. We just never saw it, or I just never saw it. Just like a lot of people look at charts and don't understand smart money concepts because they're looking at other shit. They're looking at indicators, or they're looking at, I don't know what they're looking at, but they're looking at different things. So you can't find something if you're not looking for it. I'm never going to find, treasure buried in the sand on a beach if I never visit the beach. You know what I mean? It's never going to happen. Right. But when somebody points you to these things, now me, I don't really do that. I give it all to you. I'm like, hey, look at this, look at that, look at that, look at that. Look at all this together. Look at the time, look at the price, look at the context. Bam. That's me. I do sort of take away from the self-discovery, but I don't know. I've always been an advocate for not holding back. I think holding back is a bitch move. I really do. I think withholding information is a bitch move. I could tell you about the mitigation, but not tell you about the mitigation model. I think that's a bitch move. So that's why I do it. So, but thank you, Oscar. I appreciate it. Eric Future said, this long NQ passed my combine today. I'm blessed. I think December begins. Cool. Look at that. We got to pin that. Can we drop some congratulations for Eric in the chat? Can we drop some, we did ones earlier. Drop some twos in the chat for Eric, or drop some celebration emojis, birthday emojis for Eric on passing a combine today. You got to love that, man. You got to love, that's why we do this, bro. That is why we do. That's why I stream. That's why I created this community. You know what I mean? Like, that's why we're here, right there. That is a very, very wonderful step. It's not the end. It's not the end. But it's a wonderful step. It is a wonderful milestone. And it is something to celebrate. You know what I mean? Print that bitch off. Sorry, I know I'm cussing a lot today. Print it off. Go to Walmart, get one of those like $5, $10 frames, cheap frame, put it in there, put it on the wall, man. You know what I'm saying? Do that. Do that. That's what I suggest. Don't be like me in my earlier days, and I'm this way a little bit sometimes too, but don't use it as an ego tool. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I passed the combine, I'm the shit. Like, relax. You know what I mean? Like, don't take it too far. Definitely celebrate. Just don't take it too far. All right? So, that I think is a good note to end it on. But yeah, coming back to that question, like, I don't know. I don't know. We swap from electronic trading hours, which is going to show us, post-market, pre-market, Asia, London, all that stuff, versus versus regular trading hours. That's just like the open market from 8:30 to 3 Central Or I think it might be 310 it measures. Pretty sure it's usually like 3. Oh, 310 apparently. So there you go. We do that so we know London's highs and lows, pre-market highs and lows, Asia highs and lows. For that reason. But yeah, congrats, Eric. Y'all be good. Be blessed. We'll be here same time, same place, for the same price tomorrow on Tuesday the 2nd. Okay? So yeah. See y'all then. Don't do anything stupid.
Sometimes, just a bit of water, so for sure.